Well, smack 'em a gob, everybody. I'm here to review the 1991 album from Skid Row, Slave to the Grind. Now, my history with Skid Row was when they first burst onto the scene with Youth Gone Wild and 18 in Life, and I Remember You and Piece of Me and stuff like that. I was kind of like, I'm not really digging this band, but that's a good singer. But it wasn't until I saw the Moscow Peace Festival where they came out and they did Holiday in the Sun, where I was like, oh man, that is awesome. That's a great cover of the Sex Pistols. Not as good as the Sex Pistols, but still damn fine. You know, I was shocked. I didn't know this band had it in them. I was like, damn, that's a good cover. And then I heard the studio version. I was like, man, good stuff. But didn't really entice me to go check out the first album till I heard Monkey Business. And it just blew my mind. And then I went and listened to the first album. And the first album, I mean, it has its moments, but nothing like this album. But this album, it lost a lot of the female fan base, you know, because it wasn't, you know, glossy like the first album. This one was more heavy, and it was just awesome. So let's get into the tracks. All right, the first song, Monkey Business, like I said, I saw this on MTV for the first time, and it really blew my mind. Sebastian's opening scream. Great, amazing lyrics from Rachel. Vaseline gypsies with silicone souls, dressed to the society. You know, it's just a great wordsmith, this guy. And I think this song absolutely smokes. It's a great opening track. And I think like a lot of people that love the first album like this song, and they ran out and bought this album because this album debuted at #1. It was the first metal album to debut at #1. And then, you know, when the fans of the first album listened to the rest of the song, they didn't dig it. And I believe after the first week, it kind of like sunk on the charts. But Monkey Business, awesome song. Then it goes into the next song, Slave to the Grind. Man, almost thrashy, heavy, relentless. Again, great lyrics and great vocals and great guitar work. It's just a slamming song. And Rob Alfuso, criminally underrated drummer. Great drumming on this song. Absolutely love it. Then we go into The Threat. Man, do I love this one. I like that opening riff, and when that bass comes in, that do-do-do-do-do-do. One thing I got to say about Rachel Boland's bass playing, I know this dude down here called Rob that's an amazing bass player, big fan of Steve Harris. I mean, he's all over the place. And they did a Skid Row. He's in a tribute band called Made of Metal, and they did a Skid Row set list, Skid Row tribute. And I was talking to him after the show, and he's like, man, some of those lines Rachel comes up with is pretty difficult and cool, you know? Very underrated bass player as well. And The Threat, ripping tune, man. I just absolutely love The Threat. And yeah, the last time I saw Skid Row with their latest singer, Eric, who's amazing, they did these 3 songs, and they did the next one as well, Quicksand Jesus. Now, this one is ballady, but the lyrics aren't about, you know, holding hands, writing your name in the sand and type stuff. You know, it touches on a religious thing. I'm not quite sure what this song is about. Now, I hate the video. The video is just tedious, too much going on. I don't like it, but I love this song. It's a great little ballad. This is the ballad I can get into, I can sink my teeth into. And I love at the end when Sebastian hits that note where he's like, I'm so far away. Amazing song. Next, Psycho Love. Back to the heaviness. Again, great bass playing. And pretty sure this song's about like some serial killer girl or something like that. All I know is that it's very heavy. And it keeps the momentum going. And this is the type of song that would turn off somebody that's into I Remember You. Love it. Next song. Now, there's 2 versions of this album. There was the Saint version with Beggar's Day. And Beggar's Day, it's heavy, but it reminds me a lot of Making a Mess off the first album. It's kind of like Making a Mess Part 2. And that was, you know, for the safe version. Now, the unsafe version was a song called Get the Fuck Out, which, you know, it's a cool little punky tune, short, 2 minutes and 42 seconds. And last time I saw Sebastian Bach, he altered the lyrics. That part where it said, when I puke, I stink, bitch, get me a drink. He changed all that because he's woke. I thought that was very lame. But anyway, yeah, it's a cool tune. I dig it. Now, the next one, Living on a Chain Gang, was like my favorite back then. And it's still one of my favorites on here. I think now, looking back on it, Monkey Business would be my favorite. But Living on a Chain Gang is up there. And man, this is difficult to sing. And Sebastian Bach, last time I saw him, he did All Slave to the Grind. He even talked about, this is going to be hard to sing, this and that. And it is. It's a very hard song to sing. Now, I saw Skid Row perform this in 91, and he wasn't hitting these notes. And he wasn't hitting the notes when I saw him the last time. This new guy hits those notes perfectly. And he's like 30-something. I think he was older than when Sebastian was when he did this album. But on this album version, Sebastian nails it. Where this guy, Eric, still nails it. Love Living on a Chain Gang, one of my favorites. Next one's called Creep Show. This would be my least favorite on here, but I'm pretty sure the band likes it because last time I saw Skid Row, I went in for the sound check and they played this song. They played songs they didn't play on the show that night, and Creep Show was one of them. I do not dislike this song. It's just my least favorite on here. All right, the next one is called In a Darkened Room, which is another ballady song, which I can see the I Remember You people dig, even though it's not one of these love songs, but it borders on it a little bit, but it's great. I love it. I love the guitar work from Scotty and Snake, and I just think it's a cool little mellow tune. I think it's pretty badass. Next one's called Riot Act. Now, this one is just them doing like a punk rock tune, very punky. Love it. Another one of my favorites on here, full of attitude, Vinegar. It's just awesome song, short to the point, and it gets the job done. Next one's called Mud Kicker. Now they stay heavy, but they go a little more mid-tempo, and this is another one I really dig, man. Here's Mud in Your Eye. Heavy riffs, good mid-tempo, kick-ass song. Absolutely love it. All right, the last song is called Wasted Time, which is another ballad, but it's talking about drug addiction. And again, I dig this one a lot. It's got some great little hooks in it, and love the vocals Sebastian does on this. It's just a monster song. I absolutely dig it. So there you go. That's my review of Slave to the Grind. The next album, Subhuman Race, I love a lot, and I'm going to do a review of that one. Stay tuned. It'll be up. I don't know if it'll be soon, but I want to do a review of Subhuman Race because I think that one was way underrated, and I think it's an awesome album. So thank you so much for watching. If you like to donate, I got a PayPal in the description below. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And like this video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms, and click that little notification bell for notifications. Right on. Stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath and smack 'em a gob. Before we get canceled, check out the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast with me and Wattzilla. We are the Podcast Kings. Link to the podcast is in the description below, and also a link to the YouTube page. Check out older episodes with visuals. And very soon, either Ian and I will learn how to go on YouTube Live. Might be soon. So check out the greatest podcast ever according to science.com. It's also God's favorite podcast and Satan's favorite podcast as well. So check out the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast before we get canceled.